All right, come on in. All right, we're going to get started here in a second. Come on in. I'm going to wait a few minutes. Give me a thumbs up if you can see a screen. It should say the business credit blueprint, build real business credit. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're here. There you go. You can see it. Daniel, can you hear me as well? Perfect. Perfect. All right. Perfect. All right. Well, we're about 1 minute in. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome to our webinar today. Today, we are going to take you through some education. We're going to give you the business credit blueprint. We're going to show you exactly how you can build real business credit. Now, one of the things I'm going to ask you right out of the gate is how many of my people here are startup businesses? If you're a startup, just give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, just something. I want to see how many people here are actually startups or under 1 year in business. Um, how many people are just getting into the revenue part of starting their business? Again, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart. I just want to get an idea of how many of you here are startups. There's a reason that I'm asking this. So it looks like we got a few of you. Okay, perfect. So you're in the right place. So one of the things that we're going to talk about today is how startups can build business credit just like any other large business can. See, that's the confusing information that's out there. People feel like, oh, if I don't have revenue, I can't build business credit. That's 100% not true. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you some examples where building business credit early actually allowed a company to scale when opportunities were presenting themselves. All right. So I want to make sure everybody can see my messages. You can. Great. Let's rock and roll. So, what we're going to cover today is how anyone can get business credit. Anyone can get business credit for your EIN. Now, this is credit that's tied strictly to your business, not to you personally. How you can leverage business credit to grow your business, and I'm going to give you some exact examples, some of them that are actually for me. Uh, how you're going to get this credit with no credit check or guarantee. This is a game changer. How to get business credit as a startup, nonprofit, or to just simply grow and expand. It doesn't mean this is just for startups, but today's particular webinar, some of you may have seen my financial checkmate webinars. They were more for the advanced businesses. This webinar is going to be showing you how to get started, but it's also for my instruction followers. So I'm hoping I have a whole bunch of people here who know how to follow written instructions and have no problem plowing through and getting things done because you're doers. I think that's exactly who I have in the room today, and I'm super excited about that. And the last but not, I'm going to show you a system that'll help you do all three of these items. Okay. So I'm not, this is let me pause for a second. What I'm not going to do today is hit you over the head with a sales pitch. What I'm going to do today is try and give you some education and then point you in the right direction, offer you an opportunity to take your business to the next level. But this is not just a beat you over the head sales webinar. I can tell you I'm tired of them. I'm sure you're tired of them. What I really want to do is have a two-way conversation. And if you're listening on live stream and I can't see you, that's okay. Love to say hello. But that's what we're really going to be talking about today. All right. So, first things, what do we believe? We believe every entrepreneur, whether you started yesterday or 10 years ago, should be able to obtain capital. The problem is that no one really educates entrepreneurs when they get their business started on how to scale their business from a financial point of view. Because everyone does the same thing. They all go to their banks or they go online, they Google up loans for businesses, and you're going to get American Express. And you're going to get all the people that want you to sign on the dotted line for you to scale your business. The problem is, or not the problem, the solution is that you don't have to do that. The problem is they don't want to tell you, they don't want you to know about it. And it's going to make sense because if I said to you, hey, I'd like to borrow $50,000 from you, I've got a really strong business credit profile, or I can personally guarantee it, you're going to always want the personal guarantee, always, right? So they're never going to disclose that there are other options because it's not in their best interest. However, they know they have to make that available because any real business, any business that's been built up and has been around for a while, or anybody who's been educated in this knows they can get that type of credit. One of the things I like to talk about is vehicles, right? Anybody who owns a business and has a car in their name or they personally guaranteed a vehicle, it's crazy. Don't ever do that again. We're going to show you exactly how to stop doing that from here to eternity. I actually have friends that start businesses just to buy cars. That's all they do. They build business credit, buy their vehicle in the company name with no personal guarantee. So anyway, we believe all entrepreneurs should be able to obtain capital. You should know exactly how to get that capital, how to get approved before you even apply, which is the coolest feeling in the world. There's nothing better than looking over an underwriter's shoulders and knowing exactly what they're looking for before you fill out the application. Oh, I see you're looking for that. Kind of like if you're looking for a job, right? You want to know what they're looking for. Wouldn't it be great if you filled out a job application and filled in everything exactly the way they were looking for it? Not that any of you are looking for jobs, but you get my point. Um, you should also know, and this is important, exactly what lenders know about you. And immediately people say, oh, well, I know what they know about me. They pull my personal credit report. They're pulling more than that. When I show you a couple of the reports they're actually pulling, it's going to shock you. One of them I call the CIA of credit reports, where they know everything about you, including every vehicle you've ever driven, every license you've ever had, were you in the military, how long, where were you stationed, what house you lived in. It's amazing. This credit report has everything on you. So you need to know what lenders know about you, including what's on your business credit reports. Most of you have probably never seen your business credit report. You should also be able to access all credit and financing options in one place. And I just say that because it just makes sense to be able to have access to everything you need in one space as opposed to constantly going online and Googling it. I don't know about you. I love Google. I really do. The problem with it is it's like a rabbit hole, right? You get on there and you start here and you end up way over there because you're looking for something and it's not quite what you're looking for. And that leads you to something else, leads you to something else. And you could spend hours looking for one thing that you can actually easily find if it was located in the spot you knew it was, right? Uh, you should have access to the same exact business credit building blueprint that large companies use. And this sounds like hyperbole when we say that, but the truth of the matter is I've actually had CFOs call me and I've personally spoken to them and they say, look, you don't have to sell me, Steve. I understand business credit. I've built business credit for our corporations. I just need the blueprint. Give us your system so I can just follow it because I don't feel like going through that whole hunt and peck thing. They don't want to have to go looking again for who the startups are, for who's the tier two. Here's two, three. How do I get vehicle financing? How many trade lines do I need? What does my paydex score need to be? This one person I was particularly talking about was a CFO for a Fortune 500 company, and it was the greatest sales call I've ever had because he said, "Don't sell me. I already know what it is. Just want your system. How much is it going to cost?" So anyway, you should have access to the same exact information they have access to, and you should be able to get the most credit at the best terms, obviously, right? That's what we believe. So this information is for you if you're looking to grow your business, and I know you all are. Nobody's here because they want to go backwards. You've been denied financing or credit or think you will be. And this, believe it or not, this think you will be is probably the biggest thing I run into. I'll ask people, and my sales team will ask people, "Hey, so what's happened when you've applied for financing, recently?" And they're like, "Well, I haven't. I'm kind of afraid." Well, what do you mean you're afraid? Well, my personal credit's not great. I don't feel like my revenue's enough. I feel like I'm going to get denied. I get it. I 100% get it because that's how we were raised. We live in a consumer world, right? And personal credit is everything, and income is everything. Well, in the business credit world, it operates a little bit different, right? So don't think you're going to get denied, right? I'm going to show you exactly how you can get approved. And you want the easiest and fastest way to get credit. Obviously, doesn't everyone. And you want your business to fund itself. Whether you know or not, you should absolutely want your business to fund itself. A business is its own entity. If you're set up as an LLC, C corporation, S corporation, not a partnership, not a sole proprietorship, your business is its own entity. It is its own person, for lack of a better word. So it has its own business credit profile, it has its own credit profile. So it should be able to get credit on its own without you standing behind it. Now, certainly there are times when you're going to need to personally guarantee things, but for the majority of a business's purchases and or operational expenses, you never have to. And if you want, why did my screen go blank? If you want, let me go backwards. You want the blueprint to get away from personal guarantees. Well, there you go. That's what I was talking about. Okay. So what's coming up here? So, oh, about me. No, oh, about Credit Suite. So look, if you've been following us for a while, we've been around a long time. 2014, I think, we've helped business owners build over $1 billion in corporate credit. Ranked one of the best entrepreneurial companies in America by Entrepreneur Magazine in 2018. A+ rated with Better Business Bureau without being accredited. In other words, we don't pay. We're contributors to Entrepreneur Magazine as well, featured on hundreds of radio shows, TVs, podcasts. We're basically everywhere. We are the 500-pound gorilla in this space. There are some pretenders. There's a lot of bad information out there. Matter of fact, I want somebody to let me know in the chat how many of you have seen ads, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram is where I see them, where it says, hey, the government has to lend you money. You have to be approved for a loan. All you have to do is start an LLC and you can get lines of credit, $50,000 immediately. How many people have seen that ad where somebody's trying to sell a product where all you have to do is start a company and you're going to get $50,000? If you haven't seen it, it's kind of funny. I laugh. I get it all the time, probably because I'm in the business credit space, right? Yeah, Stacy, you've seen it. It's not true. It's 100% not true. The biggest problem with our space that we didn't have 10 years ago is there's so much misinformation out there. There's so much of it. Let me explain something. Business credit has changed names. It used to be called corporate credit. Some of you may have heard that, but it's basically been around since Dun& and Bradstreet's been around. Matter of fact, that's the whole reason Dun& and Bradstreet exists. They were the company that let other companies know what your company was like from a paying your bills point of view. Were you financially stable or not financially stable? Now, of course, that's expanded to Experian and Equifax. And actually, there's multiple other business credit reports out there. But in the end, it's been around forever and it never really has changed. Business credit is nothing more than a marketing tool for businesses to do business with you, right? So when I was flipping homes and I got credit with Home Depot, it wasn't that Home Depot wanted to give my business credit. No, they want me to pay cash, obviously, or they want me to personally guarantee it. But what they really wanted was the $50,000 to $100,000 a month I was spending with Home Depot every single month. They wanted that business. Guess who else wanted it? Lowe's wanted it too. So guess what I got? I got credit in the company name, not tied to me personally, because they wanted my business. That's really what business credit is. Business credit, and look, when I was in the printing world, I offered all my customers net 30, 45, 60, and 90-day terms. That's credit. I was giving them credit. And I'm talking about millions of dollars in credit that they could pay me after whatever the terms were, 30, 60, 90 days. The government was the worst. They were about 120 days. So that's really what business credit is. People get really confused by it. So when I see those ads, Stacy, I get really frustrated because I know that's not true. No bank is required to give you money because you start an LLC. If that was the case, wouldn't we all start 50 LLCs tomorrow, right? All go get our 25 to $50,000 because we did one or two steps. And I mean, think about that. 25 times 50, right? 1.2 million dollars. So obviously it's ridiculous. So I just want you to be careful with the bad information that's out there. All right. So that's Credit Suite in a nutshell. Next question is, who am I? My name's Steve Weibel. If you've been following us for a while, you've probably heard me on other podcasts or other webinars. I'm the author of Business Credit, the complete step-by-step guide. I say this all the time now. Don't buy that book. It's on Amazon. Look it up. You can see it's legit. I think it's the #1 rated book on there. Remember, I know it is, has the highest amount of reviews. But the information is outdated. We just talked about somebody out there running ads saying you can get this, you can get that, and it's not true. The information in that book is outdated. How do I know it's outdated? One, I wrote it, but two, because it changes constantly. That's why having the right information will help you succeed. If you have the wrong information, you're going to bang your head up against the wall. And here's what most people do: they give up. They get one or two or three trade lines reporting. They have a Paydex score of 80, and they're like, okay, I got a Paydex score. I want to get to the next level, and they can't, and they don't know why. It's not because they're not capable. It's not because the business won't get approved. It's just because they have bad information. So misinformation is my biggest problem in our space. So anyway, I've personally flipped over 300 homes. I built and sold a large printing company, tens of millions of dollars. One of the top 1% real estate agents in the country. Built my entire real estate business with business credit. My entire printing business with business credit, right? I'm a former Marine, Semper Fi. Some banks start business bank accounts with startup capital of 25 to 50 to ensure your success, able to pay back and continue business with them. If there's a bank that will give me $20 to $50,000 to ensure my success, I want to know who they are, Travis, because never seen it, never heard of it. I'll bring them in and I'll introduce them to every one of our customers. I've never seen that. Not without a personal guarantee. You're either putting your house up, you're putting your personal credit up, and in most cases, you're putting up both, right? So thanks, Daniel. I appreciate that. All right, let's move on because you don't care about me. You care about what you're going to learn today. So here's my gift to you. Stay to the end of the presentation. Whether you buy anything from us or not, I'm going to want you to schedule an appointment with us. Okay. We'll give you a free no-cost business credit consultation. If you're a brand new business, you're not going to see anything, so you really don't want to waste your time. You may want to just go right into building business credit, but we can pull your D&B report and go over it with you and give you next steps. All right, so just hanging out with me will do that to you. Don't worry about that text. That's bad. That's from an old presentation. All right, so first of all, getting money is not hard or not easy, right? It's very difficult. Per the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, more than half of businesses will fail in 5 years or less. 82% of business failures are due to issues with cash flow, and a staggering 90% of business owners agree that availability of loans is a problem. Well, I think it's probably closer to 100%. 51% of small businesses worry weekly about capital. There's some other stats in here that are not on this presentation. And I know this because I've done enough of these presentations. 3 years ago, I think it's 3 years ago, the average credit card debt in this country was a little over $3,000. Right? 2 years ago, it was a little over $6,000. Anybody want to guess what the average credit card debt is today? Let's see if we can get somebody who can get close. So I went from 3 to 6. Anybody got an idea what the credit card debt is now? The average credit card debt? Whoever's on their Samsung is pretty close. 10,650. That's a great guess, Tim. 10,600. That's the average credit card debt for individuals. That's average, right? That's the problem. People are going further and further and further into debt and are going into it personally, right? So that's why business owners obviously stress out about money. And I'm sure you all have that same stress, right? So how do you succeed with getting money? First of all, you got to make sure your business is set up where it's actually fundable. This is unbelievably important. I'm going to pause for 5 seconds because if you've got a pen and a piece of paper, grab it, right? I'm going to give you some information you want to write down. You need to make sure your business is set up the right way. Now, if you've already set your business up and you've made some mistakes on some of the things we're talking about, it's okay. Easy to correct, easy to unwind, all right? But there are some real critical items that people miss when they set their business up. Getting business credit for your EIN that's not linked to your social security number to become more lendable, that's something you have to do because whether you like it or not, you have a business credit report. The problem is if you've got nothing reporting there, it's not like having no beacon, right? Like personal credit, you have no beacon, no score. You actually get a failing grade from a couple of the credit reporting agencies. What a failing grade is, hey, this is a super high risk company. I wouldn't trust doing business with them without a personal guarantee, right? So they're going to give you a failing grade because there's nothing reporting. What that really means, little inside information, is that nobody's doing business with you that trusts you and is reporting. And that's a problem because if you don't know who's going to report, you have to know who to do business with to get them to report. So that's basically what it's saying. Because as businesses get larger and larger, a lot of these suppliers will actually report. The bad news is most of them will only report the negatives. Only about 7% will report positive payments, which is how you build your business credit report. So the good news is capital is available if you know where to look. So you want to find all your funding in one place. All right. So first things, let's talk about improving your fundability. How many of you, I'm sure all of you have applied for a credit card and gotten an automated instant approval online, right? Every one of you have applied for that. You've either gotten one or two things that's happened. You got the automated instant approval, or you've got this. We have to review your application. We'll be in touch, which you and I both know means you got denied. Now, you know that happened in less than a second, maybe 5 seconds. So you know nobody actually looked at it, right? AI, right? Artificial intelligence did an underwriting on it, and it scanned what's happening with your personal credit, and they have certain criteria built in. They made a decision right there on the spot whether you're going to be approved or not be approved. Well, the same exact thing happens in the business world. Exactly the same thing. As a matter of fact, I don't even call business credit reporting agencies business credit reporting agencies. I call them data salespeople. They're basically selling data. That's all credit reporting agencies are. They are data gatherers, and then they sell it to people who need that data. Um, and you'll know this because if anybody here has a credit score of over 700, probably over 650, I don't know what's happening in the market today, but if you're over 700, the odds are you walk out, if I walked out to my mailbox right now and opened my mailbox, I'll bet you there's a credit card offer in my mailbox, right? How many people have had that happen to them, right? You walk out, you got a credit card, right? Now, your neighbor may or may not have that exact same offer. If they don't have a credit score that fits in that criteria, I guarantee they don't have the offer. So let's say your neighbor has a 500 credit score and you have a 700 credit score. How would they know to mail it to you and not to them? They have to buy your information from the data report, the credit reporting agencies, which is their data salespeople. The same exact thing, exactly the same thing happens in the business credit world. I'm going to give you an example of one of our customers who had a difficult time even getting credit cards, went through, structured their business the right way, set it up so it was fundability, went from being denied to all of a sudden not only approved, now they've got people calling them trying to help them get loans because they're selling that data. Lenders need customers, right? Just like you need customers and I need customers, lenders need customers. So where do lenders get customers? They can run Google ads, of course, but in most cases, actually, I'll tell you exactly how it works, but in most cases, they're buying it from the credit reporting agencies. Hey, I want businesses that are from 1 year to 5 years old in this area doing this revenue with this paydex score, with this experience score. That's what they're looking for. So they'll buy that data and then they'll begin marketing to you to help get you a loan. Now, it actually works even different than that. If you apply, it goes into a data, and that the people who collect that data sell it like instantly. So the point is, if you have a strong business credit profile, instead of you looking for money, it starts looking for you. It's really pretty cool. It's almost like you turn the tables on them. So anyway, so how fundable your business is determines if you get an automated approval or get denied. Unfortunately, that's fundability. That's how fundable. And you can see it's a massive amount of information. But what I want you to focus on right here, now, when it comes to SBA loans and certain types of loans, personal credit history is important. But here's where people get jacked up. They will skip this whole section here, right? So they'll set themselves up here, their proper industry, the business name, address, phone number, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then nothing's going on here. Has anybody ever seen a solid item that's a circle with a pie cut out of it and tried to roll that? What happens? You go to roll it like a wheel, you roll it, when it gets to the cutout pie part, it stops. That's what happens when you don't have a strong business credit profile. You're missing this whole lower section where it says business credit reports. So when lenders look, they go, okay, looks like their financials are in good shape. Their business looks like it's structured okay. There's nothing going on here. Well, we're going to have to dive deeper into their personal credit. I've seen people with great personal credit get denied for a loan, build their business credit, go back in SBA in particular, and get automated approvals for 3 times what they originally applied for. So it's a big deal. How your business looks to lenders, the fundability is unbelievably important. And it just gets in even deeper if we go in further. There's so many things you have to think about. There's 178 fundability factors, I believe. I don't always have that number down. So here's some of the things you're going to want to do, right? The type of entity you have is super important. We touched on it. LLC, S corporation, C corporation. Not a partnership, not a sole proprietor, all right? The type of phone number you use. So it can't be a cell phone. Well, we suggested somebody like Ring Central or somebody like that. You don't want to use Google Voice because Google Voice, they actually own the number. It's something that we want registered to your name. Your phone number listed in certain directories, the National 401 database, the type of address you use for your business. This is a big deal. So I could 2, 3, 4 years ago talk about just virtual address, virtual address. This is all I talk about. Things change. I told you that misinformation is our biggest issue. It's constantly changing. there are certain creditors and lenders that will not give you any credit with a virtual address, right? So what do? Especially if you work from your house. Well, since 2020 with COVID, lenders expect small business owners to be working from their home, right? How many people here, give me a thumbs up. How many people here actually are working their business out of their house? I bet you I'm going to get a lot of you. Yep. Yeah, of course. Right. Because that's what happened in 2020. So what I used to tell people is don't use your house for your business address. It actually is fine. I actually prefer that than even a virtual address. So the type of address you have, the type of licenses you have. If you have a business and your state doesn't require you to have a business license, get one anyway. Telling you that right now. Get one anyway. Write that down. Get one anyway. Costs about $100, depending on the state you're in. It just adds more credibility to you. 100% more credibility. Get your business license. I know some people don't. I did with my first business here in Florida. Now I have it. Every business I own has a business license. Uh, Type of address you use, we talked about the congruency of your records. Fancy word for it all needs to match everywhere. You can't have the IRS have this address and your website has this address and the Secretary of State has this address because that's going to look like what? It's going to look like fraud, right? And all this about the fundability factors is about making sure there's no fraud on your business because that's what lenders are looking for, right? Especially keep in mind, no social security number tied to this credit, right? So they want to make sure the business is truly in business, it's a legitimate business, and you are who you say you are. So they have to be concerned about people committing fraud, right? So let's use that Home Depot example. If Home Depot gave my business $100,000 in credit and I wasn't legit, I was trying to defraud them, but I got approved. I could buy $100,000 worth of air conditioners and sell them off the back of a truck, right? So they're always on the lookout for that fraud. And the way they do that, they figured it out, is to run search. AI does all this, and it looks to make sure everything matches. It's all congruent because a real business owner would want to have that, right? They wouldn't want 5 addresses out there. They'd want only one address out there. So the congruency is super important. And it's in multiple places, not just there with the business credit reporting agencies, with LexisNexis. It's all over the place. Um, whether your bank account is set up, look, this seems really basic. If you don't have a business bank account and you're not sure how to get one, reach out to us. We'll refer you to an online bank account that you get business bank account. You got to have a business bank account. Do not use your personal bank account to run your business. And of course, do you have your EIN, your DUNS number, your BINS number, et cetera, et cetera. So there's your basic fundability factors. Now, you also have to know what's being reported about you to have the best chance of getting approved. Why is that important? So first of all, what if something's reporting on your business credit report that's not yours and it's negative? What if there's a UCC filing and it has nothing to do with you because maybe your business name is very similar to another business name, right? Or, and I've seen this multiple times, this is why your address is so important. You'll have multiple businesses listed at an address or an old business listed at an address. They move, your business moves in, they stuck somebody for money and they filed it and it went against that address, not the address itself, but the business that was at that address, and it gets reported to your business credit report. Well, if you're not watching, if you're not paying attention to that, no different than personal credit, that's going to directly impact what happens to you in the future. And you may not even know that it's happening. I've seen this countless times. We actually had an issue here at Credit Suite. So that's something you have to know it's reporting. So you have to have access to your business credit reports. Okay, and there's multiple other things you need to be on the lookout for. So first things first, let's improve your fundability. I touched on this, even if you are fundable, most loan applications get denied because of potential fraud concerns, not because you don't qualify. Lenders fight fraud by matching your company and application details against other data they have from places like LexisNexis, Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, Small Business Financial Exchange, Equifax, check systems. Matter of fact, LexisNexis. If you don't know how to get it, go get your LexisNexis report. Go to lexisnexis.com. It's free. Make sure you get one every year. Mine's about that thick. Yours is probably pretty close. Go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure there's nothing on there that's not yours. Okay. That they actually send that data out everywhere. And most people have no idea it exists. I've seen people try to fix their personal credit and they'll get something removed and then it shows back up and they have no idea why. LexisNexis still had the data and they're sending it back out again and again and again. Does it count against you if you have the word financial in your business name? Daniel, that's a great question. We're going to kind of dive into that a little bit. It's not great. I love vanilla names. Like I'm going to look out my window to the left. I see a palm tree. If I'm starting my business, I'd be like Palm Tree Enterprises, right? The reason is they can't pigeonhole you. Financial, ironically, lenders and creditors don't like lenders and creditors, right? Nobody likes to loan money to somebody who's in the finance world. Even when we started Credit Suite, that's a decision that our CEO had to make. Do we put credit in the name? And from a marketing point of view, we thought it was important, more important than even getting financing. So you're going to get pigeonholed with the word financial. Doesn't mean you can't build business credit. You most certainly can. But like I highly recommend multiple things you could do. One of them is I built what was called a funding LLC. I started an LLC. Its only job was to build a business credit profile. That was all it did. Everything else would flow from my other company into that, but you could certainly do that. And I'll answer more questions at the end. I'm not going to leave without answering all your questions. Okay. So let's move on. I want to get you guys out of here quick. Oh, so here we go. So even the slightest change to one fundability standard can turn a denial into approval. How do I change address with the Secretary of State? Stacy asked that. You actually just go to the Secretary of State and change it. It's really simple, Stacy. You could do what's called a change or an address update, depending on which Secretary of State. And a lot of times you can do it online. And that's important because even one change can actually turn a denial into an approval. And this is an example of a couple that actually had that happen. They went to their bank to get a business line of credit and they turned them down, right? They got started with Credit Suite, went through our program, made sure their business was set up the right way. And I remember they had multiple mismatches. They then built their business credit. After following the steps, they secured over 96, that's actually way over 96,000 now, but at the time, $96,000 in business credit cards. Now they have 4 to 5 different companies call them there you go. Call them every day trying to give us money, and that's a really good problem to have. We're excited, and if you don't have a business credit yet, you should get involved with Credit Suite. Love hearing that, but I didn't even realize that slide was in there. That's exactly what I said in the beginning. If you build your business credit profile, they will start chasing you. It's the coolest feeling in the world when people start wanting to call you or send you offers in the mail, like we discussed. Okay. So building credit for your EIN, right? When you get a home mortgage, car loan, personal credit card, obviously, you guys all know this. You guys and girls know this, right? Lenders and credit issuers, they pull your personal credit, right? When your business applies for money or credit, and there is a difference, your business credit is being used to determine, one, if you're going to get approved, two, how much you'll get approved for, and three, the rates and terms you'll pay. Ironically, I put that last, or had them put that last. I think that should be first because I see people get approved for loans where it's just almost predatory, right? The interest rate's ridiculous, the terms ridiculous, but because their business credit profile was terrible or their cash flow was terrible or whatever it was that was a mitigating problem, they had to go with that loan. Well, I looked and said, I wouldn't do this. That's going to put you out of business. You'll never get out of that hole. I don't know how many of you knew another business owner that went into debt with some loan that was predatory or seen or felt predatory, and they just never came out of that hole. That's another reason the business credit profile is so important because I could have a 750 credit score. You can have a 750 credit score. We can both be doing, let's say, a $500,000 a year in revenue in identical businesses. I have 20 trade lines reporting my business credit report. Yours have none and say recommended credit limit $1,000. And I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to get 5% to your 12%. Now, let's say I was borrowing $100,000. Think about that. That's $7,000 a year in interest that I'm not paying that you may be, or vice versa. So rate and terms are a big deal. I know when you're desperate for money, just getting approved is important, but as your business grows, trust me, the rate and terms are really important. And even people who have great personal credit and even good cash flow find that when they build their business credit profile, their rates and terms are significantly better because they are pulling that piece of the pie that I'm talking about, that when it's empty, they've got to dive in deeper somewhere else or they've got to charge you more. So we want you to fill that piece of the pie. Okay. So Here's an example. I talked about failing scores, right? So this is the credit report. I think this is from Experian. You're looking, yeah, it is. It's an IntelliScore. So they got a 28. Where do you see this? 28 medium risk. Their financial stability risk is high. So if you look on the chart over here, current financial stability risk 6, it's pretty high, right? They're very considered high risk. And you see down here, it says credit limit recommendation $1,000. Everybody see that? Everybody see what I'm showing you? Now, if you look at their credit report, there's nothing on here. There's no negatives. There's no judgments. There's nothing. There's zero reporting. Yet they're saying that you're high risk or this person's high risk, and they're only recommending $1,000. So it looks like they're unestablished and or on the verge of bankruptcy. And that's basically what the credit reporting agency is. Now, this is through no fault of this particular business owner. They didn't do anything wrong. They've got nothing reporting. They've got no negatives. They haven't done anything wrong. They haven't not paid their bills, but there's nothing reporting. So the credit reporting agency say, well, we don't know anything about these people. We consider this very high risk. I wouldn't recommend any more than $1,000 credit limit. Well, imagine how frustrating that would be if you're doing $1 million in business, right? You're being recommended for $1,000. Now, what's cool about business credit is if you add even one account, just one, the same credit report, they went from, where were we before? We were at, hold on, let's go back. We were at 28 and a 6. Now we're at a 96 and a 55. They went from high risk to low risk, really low risk on their IntelliScore, and they've got one trade line for under $100 reporting. And look at the credit limit recommendation, up to $2,500. Over doubled by having one item report. That's how awesome business credit is. That's how important it is to have things reporting in your business credit report. Look at the change. I mean, $2,500 is not a lot, right? For a business, that's really not a lot. But they only used a net 30 term for under $100. It probably was about 50, between 50 and 75. That's all they did. They got approved for credit with some starter vendor. They spent $50 to $100, whatever it was. They paid their bill, their balance is zero, and their score skyrocketed. That's with one trade line. What's cool is it just keeps going. As you continue to grow, you can see these numbers just keep growing. Why is this going so fast? Not supposed to be automated. But the numbers, let me see if I can't go back. Let's roll this back. Can I roll it back? It's not letting me. The numbers get really high. You'll start seeing approvals for 25, 50. I can tell you my personal business credit report, I was being recommended for $150,000. That's what it said on mine. I had lots of credit. I had vehicles in my name. I had credit cards. I had vendors. I'm trying to think. I had so much. It was a little over, when I had my real estate business, it was a little over $800,000 in total credit. Everything I needed. Oh, all my employees had, you guys may or may not remember Nextel phones. I had business credit. I got them all on credit. In other words, all the phones were issued without a dollar coming out of my pocket. Everything I bought from Home Depot and Lowe's. I had other suppliers as well. And what was cool is the other suppliers, they didn't report, but they still pulled my business credit. So I was getting approvals even though they didn't report. So building business credit is important, but it's also leveraging business credit that's important. Once you've built it, not everybody actually reports, but almost everybody will give business credit. Uh, Quick example, I had somebody who was in the, I think he was in the credit, no, he was a business consultant. And he wanted to build his business credit. So he began building his business credit. And he started called a finance LLC, like I mentioned. What I didn't know about him is he was a really good cook, loved to cook. So he had a little side gig where he was catering friends' parties, things like that. Out of the blue, he was buying food from US Foods. He decided to apply for credit with them. They instantly approved him. Now, here's the kicker. He got approved for $50,000. This was a little side gig. He got approved for 50 grand to buy product from US Foods. They don't report, they gave business credit. Changed his life. He got a business consulting, went right into full-time catering and opened a restaurant. So if you think business credit doesn't have any impact, imagine somebody handing you 50 grand in supplies to, let's say you want to be a landscaper, right? You suddenly got $50,000 to spend to buy equipment. Could you go into business? I know you can because my brother did it last year or 2 years ago. And he's doing about a $500,000 in landscaping now. And it all started with business credit. All of it started with business credit. So it's really important to begin building that profile because you don't know where it's going to lead. All right. Here's the best part. You get approved regardless of your consumer credit quality. It does not matter. They do not look at it, right? There's no personal guarantee required for most. There are some companies that will still require it depending on how old your business is, whether you have a virtual office or not. But 99% of what you can do without a personal guarantee. No inquiries, no reporting on your personal credit. Credit limits are, this is interesting, 10 to 100 times consumer credit. People say, well, that's a great number, Steve. That sounds awesome. Why should I believe you? I agree with you. Why should you believe me? So I'd rather explain why the limits are 10 to 100 times, not just because I say they are. It's going to make total sense. Is there anybody here a trucker at all? I don't think I have anybody here there is, but let's say one of you is a trucker and I have an insurance company, right? And we both apply to get fuel cards. I'm going to get approved for probably $500 for a fuel card, maybe 1,000, right? As a trucker, you're going to get approved for between 5 and 25,000. Why? I mentioned in the beginning, they want your business. They want to do business with you, right? So the limits are going to be 10 to 100 times higher because there's no way an individual is ever going to spend 5 grand on fuel. Do any of you spend $5,000? I don't care what you're paying per gallon, no matter where you live. You're not spending $5,000 a month on fuel. There you go. Sunday is trucking Westfield and with $12,000 limit, and it's not reporting. Wex is not Wex. That's who you have it with, and they're not reporting. There's a reason it's not reporting. Something's wrong. Business credit is reported based on your address. I'd be willing to bet you have an address mismatch somewhere Sunday. But there you go, $12,000 limit. There's social proof right there. Right now, they would never ever approve me for $12,000 because I'm never going to spend $12,000. And I'll bet you, Sunday, that you can use that not only for fuel, but you can buy at truck stops, you can buy food if they have a restaurant, you can buy other things, repairs, tires, et cetera, right? If you have a fleet card. So that's what's great about business credit, and that's why you're going to get limits of 10 to 100 times. Now, Sunday probably wouldn't get approved with Home Depot for $50,000, but I was flipping homes. So I was spending that kind of money and they wanted my business. Right? It just depends on what your business consumes. Right now, there are a lot of places you can get credit that you're not even thinking about that you consume and you don't even think about it. But the point is that that's why the limits are so much higher. All right. You're going to get the credit quickly too because its scores are based on payment history, not based on utilization, not based on anything other than your payment history. And what I mean by that is I give you $500 in credit, you pay it back within the terms, you paid on time, right? So your credit that's going to be extended in the future is going to be based on your payment history. Now people go, yeah, what happens if I'm late? Does that totally ruin my business credit report? Yeah, it can. However, I'm going to give you an example of what is considered a good paydex score, 78. You know what 78 is? You're not paying on time. You mostly pay on time, but you tend to run late once in a while. That's a 78 paydex score for D&B. Why that's important to know is because every business, I don't care what business you're in, is going to pay its bills late once in a while because cash flow doesn't run like this, does it? Never runs like this. It's always like this. There's no such thing as cash flow that goes like this. Hopefully, it goes just like this. But in most businesses, it does this, right? We have our up times, we have our down times. Vendors know that, suppliers know that, and creditors know that. So, because they run through the same thing, right? So, even paying a little bit late, you're okay, but you want to mostly pay on time. Remember, you really want to pay 100% on time if you want to get the highest limits. Um, so you get it quickly. It separates your business from your personal credit reports, and that's important because I really don't. Sunday, since you had that $12,000 limit, if you try to put that on a personal credit card every month, I don't know how much you spend in fuel per month, but let's say it's two to three to $5,000. If you had a $10,000 personal credit card and you put that fuel on your personal credit card At the end of the month, when you spent that 5 grand, your credit score is going to plummet because your utilization rate went up. In business credit, utilization means nothing. And so it's important to separate your personal from your business because that utilization really means nothing. Uh, There's the other thing that's important. It establishes your credibility for lenders, suppliers, and credit issuers and customers. 9,000 a month paid in full. I love it. That's exactly right. That's brilliant. Your 12,000 is going to go to 25,000 quickly. Matter of fact, if I had you working in our team, I would tell you to get second and a third credit card because they'll begin competing for you. Um, Anyone can see your business credit report. Now, Sunday's in here as a trucker. I can tell you this. I'm going to show you somebody who also has a trucking firm in here who had a difficult time getting business when they built their business credit profile. They were suddenly getting offers to bid from companies that they had no idea. It's based on their business credit report. They trust them. They're stable business, so they want to do business with them. Anyone can see your business credit report. Anyone. If you're competing with someone in the same business with you for, let's say, my business, the two different businesses competing for my business, you can pull your competitor's business credit report if you want to pay the $50 and look and see if they pay their bills on time. I've literally showed somebody else's business credit report to a client and said, you don't want to do business with them. Look, they don't pay their bills. And I won a big job because of it. Anyone can pull your business credit report, including customers. So you want to keep that in mind. Okay. There you go, Christine. So you'll like this one Sunday. This is she's a trucker, right? These are some of her approvals. This is an older slide. Approved. She started off 2 grand with Sprint, 4,500 with Amazon, Tractor Supply 5,000, Exxon 5,000, Fuel Man Fleet 6, BJ 7, BP Oil 8, Lowe's 10, Apple 12, Shell 15, Murphy USA another fuel 15. But do you notice a trend here? They're all going up, right? Office Depot 15, Sears 15, Costco 20, Best Buy 40. I don't know why a trucker needs Best Buy, but turned out she also has a horse farm. That's a business. She immediately set up her horse farm as a business so she can get another set of business credit profiles. Dell Computers 40,000. Pilot Flying J. How about 50 grand with Pilot Flying J? If you're a trucker, Sunday, you know who Pilot Flying J is, right? You can spend 50 grand there. Roofs Plus, because she had to put a new roof on her horse barn. She got approved for $75,000 in the business name, not tied to her personally. Ford gave her $185,000 to buy a truck. RTS is basically sign and drive. 300, that's actually up to 750,000 right now. She walks in, signs, and leaves for the company. Not personally guaranteed. She can add a new truck whenever she wants. All from Billy Business Credit. And by the way, when Christine started with us, was thinking about shutting the business down. So if you don't think business credit has any real impact on your business as a startup, it not only has impact, it has opportunities. And opportunities is what it's all about. All these approvals require no consumer credit check or personal guarantee. Now, I told you about them. Let me actually show them to you. Here's Christine. Here's my Equifax business credit report. My score is 100. Highest that you can get. I still have a few items that need to start reporting, but so far it is going upwards. There's her approval. I mentioned Murphy USA, $15,000. What's this one say? Da, da, da. These are all her cards, Costco, RTS, all her credit cards she's holding. For those who say business credit without a PG is not possible, these are just a few of my cards. This does not include what I'm waiting to be shipped, nor what I have for my other business as well. So it can be done, but yes, you have to eventually do a PG somewhere down the line. She's talking about cash credit. But a good majority, if you follow Ty Crandall's program, which is us, you'll get what you need. There you go, $150,000 line of credit through RTS Financial Services. I said that's up to $700,000 now. She also has their fuel fleet card at $10,000 per week per truck. That's crazy, right? This has been a year for a fuel card. Now we can expand and fast, all with no personal guarantee. It's just one example, right? Here's some other example approvals. Karen Burns on our Get Business Credit page. Fuelman cards today. They now have Uline, Granger, Quill, Pilot, just waiting for everything to start reporting. There's a Sam's MasterCard. I have that literally in my pocket. That is a traveling MasterCard. In other words, I can use it anywhere. No PG. Agent actually called store to verify. Just came in the mail. Don't abandon those dreams. Keep trusting the process. There's another one. No PG. 17,000 is spending between these two. Waiting on the Exxon Mobil card. There's fleet cards. There's Home Depot Pro Services. Lowe's is in there. Who else we got in here? There's a Chase card, or no, I'm sorry, MasterCard, JC Penney's, which is kind of funny. Um, that's 76. There's Lowe's, so I've had both of those. There's Racetrack. So you get my point. You see all these approvals, Stables. All of these people are getting approved. Amazon, $17,000 Amazon line of credit, no PG. Uh, let's see, $50,000 business line of credit. Who was this with? This was it was a Visa. Um, you guys are seeing it, right? You see my point, right? These are all people. This person sent an email in, Ty. Can you believe this? I'm crushing it. 10,000 with Apple on the business name, no PG. Friday, we're going to do the UBF program. We're going to get 50 grand. Uh, here's one, JC. Oh, I know who JC is. Um, this was a trucker Sunday. I spoke to this person personally, and oh, here you go. It says it in here. I'd like to inform you that Mr. Stephen Weibel has been awesome in helping me set up the program with Credit Suite. Been with the company less than a month. I've already received $50,000 credit line with Pilot Flying J. 50,000. It's crazy, right? Stephen convinced me to get in the program and showed me that I was making the right decision, and he was absolutely correct. He is great at what he does. Yeah, I'm great at what I do. God, this was a couple years ago. Thank you for all your help. I'd love to discuss partnering options with Credit Suite later in the near future as well. So, look, it never ends. I could sit here for an hour and just do this, and I've already had you guys here for 45 minutes, so I don't want to keep you too long. Here's my point. Everybody can do it. A lot of these are startups, right? Chase Inc. I could just keep going. Matter of fact, I'm kind of getting tired of hitting this button. You need to do it. It's easy to do. It's not difficult. All businesses, any and all businesses qualify for business credit, startups, nonprofits. If you own a business, you live outside the US, as long as you have a US based business, you can build business credit. Works if you have multiple businesses. Matter of fact, if you're smart, you should have multiple businesses. Once you understand how to do this, because this is education, it's scalable. You get approved even when you can't get any other type of loan or credit line, no cash flow, no collateral required, no consumer credit. Okay. You have to build business credit to get the highest limits and the best terms on cash financing as well. That's that part of that wheel. You can't get approved. Anyway, this is another friend of mine, Josh. Uh, he was somebody who was looking to expand his business. We showed him how to build his business credit. He went through our system, got an SBA loan because that was something he had a difficult time getting, and ended up staffing, marketing systems, sales systems, product development, all these things that before Credit Suite, having access to the capital, we really couldn't do. I just don't have to stress as much as because we have got the money in the bank, take care of that opportunity. And I could just keep giving you more and more. You go to our website and get more. So, in addition to this, there's also alternative lending out there. A lot of you are probably sitting there going, yeah, Steve, building business credit's great, but I kind of need funding too. I need cash in my pocket. Get it. Problem is, if you go to a bank, they're going to give you one shot. If you go to Google, you may or may not find a source. We've got hundreds and hundreds of sources. There are so many different loans that you're going to get access to if you work with us. Everything from startup funding, revenue financing, lines of credit, you name it. We actually are thinking about bringing on some consumer stuff too, for people who maybe don't have as high credit scores they need to get a startup business funding. So there's so many different types of financing you can qualify for now. Like I said, revenue, MCA, book of business, startup unsecured, peer-to-peer, commercial real estate. By the way, that's amazing. Angel investing, venture capital, private investment, SBA loans, term loans, et cetera, business line of credit, house flipper financing. So anyway, this is Junius, another guy that went through our system. I also know him. I helped him get started. And I'm comfortable sharing this, he didn't have anything. He had an idea, started his business. He helps veterans, which I love, being a veteran, but had no revenue or anything. Got started. This man has 3 vehicles that he did not personally guarantee now. His business boomed, but he doesn't sign for anything personally, anything. If you search our website, you'll find a video from him. So, anyhow, here's the deal. I'm going to show you who wants to see what I'm talking about. How do I get funding for my life insurance? Who wants to see what I'm talking about? In other words, who wants to see the blueprint to show you how you can build your business credit and how easy it is? I assume everybody in this room, when listening online, are people that know how to follow instructions, right? Some people just can't follow instructions. Some people need their handheld. Some people are really good at following instructions. So I'm going to show you exactly what I have for you. This program right here, our business credit builder, will take you through that entire process. from the fundability foundation, in other words, setting you up, making sure everything is correct. And I'll show you what I mean. The business name, the address. Let's say you have an issue with the address, right? We're going to give you education video on that. And we're going to, if you don't have an address, give you the links to get your address set up. Let's say you were working on a PO box and you want to move off of that. We're going to have you enter your EIN, your business phone. Let's say you don't have a business phone. Let me click on there. It's going to educate you on why the business phone number is so important. Do you have a business phone number? Do you have a toll free? If you don't, here's some resources to get it. Save and go to the next step. We're going to take you all the way through this part, the fundability section, and then get you to establish your business reports. So if you haven't established your business credit reports with Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, Equifax, and I will tell you, D&B, you have to register. Experian will happen the minute you have your first report. Same with Equifax. Uh, then you want to start verifying that by, we have something called, where's the Bureau Insights, where you can monitor all three on one report. Then once you're established with them, you want to start building tier one. It's this simple. Where do you see how easy this is? So you got tier one. So most of you have heard of Uline. So if I click on Uline, first of all, we tell you who they report to. Now this is cool. So I'm going to stop right here. Has anybody here ever seen their own business credit report? I'm going to ask Sunday because you've got a $12,000 limit with Wex Fuel. So I'm assuming you've seen your business credit report. Anybody here ever seen their business credit report? Okay. If you haven't, I'm going to explain what it looks like. So personal credit report always says Citibank, Capital One, whatever. It'll say what your credit card is or Ford financing or whatever. It'll say exactly who the creditor or lender is, right? Great, you have NAV, so you can see it. It'll, on your personal credit report, it'll say exactly who you have the credit with, what your limit is, what your balance is, did you pay on time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Business credit reports don't do that. Business credit reports will say, and I'm going to use Home Depot or use Uline as an example. Uline will show up not as Uline, but it'll show up as a shipping container contractor or servicer or supplier, excuse me, supplier. Home Depot, I can tell you, shows up as hardware supply. So why is that? Here's why. So in my world, in my old world printing business, I competed with other printing companies, and we all would try and get the best deal we could on paper, right? But there's only so many paper suppliers. So everybody always wanted to know who was getting the best deals and who were they getting them from, especially if you're bidding on the same job, right? So in a $100,000 printing job, 50,000 of that might be paper. So getting it 10% cheap could be the difference between whether you get the job or not, because you could lower your price by that 10%. Or if you're smart, 5% and put 5% more in your pocket. So because business credit reports are public information, I don't need your permission to pull it. We would constantly be pulling each other's business credit reports to look to see what our highest credit limits were, with what their highest credit limits were with paper vendors and suppliers. So we know if they were actually competition on the project. I told you, I showed one to a customer and said, look, they don't pay their bills. You don't want to give this job to them. So because we have that ability, they can't put the name of the supplier down because that's basically inside information, right? I'm buying from Roosevelt paper and they're buying from Risk paper. And I'm getting a bet. If they know I'm buying from Roosevelt, they're not going to buy from Risk. They're going to call Roosevelt and be like, how much is this paper? And they're going to give them the same deal, right? So now they have inside information. So for that reason, business credit reports don't put who the supplier or who the creditor is. They just put the industry, and it might be banking if it's a loan, right? Well, that's important for multiple reasons. One, the reason I gave you, but the second reason is, like in this example, they report to D&B and Experian. So if they report to D&B and Experian, that's two trade lines. That's not one, that's two trade lines because they don't know that it's the same trade line. They have no idea. So if somebody's checking your business credit reports, they will see two trade lines reporting, right? So if you're smart, as you build business credit, for example, Murphy USA, D&B Experian, and Equifax, that's three trade lines. Well, as you're going through the tiers, you have to have a certain amount of trade lines. I can tell you all the fun is in tier 4. That's where the vehicles are. That's where the revolving credit cards are. So if you want to get there quickly, you want to deal with people who report to multiple places. So if I had a choice to, let's say, I don't know, looks like they all report to all three. Let's say, all right, so office supply, they report to Equifax, but Uline, let's say I'm buying the same thing, reports to D&B and Experian, and I want to build my D&B and Experian profile up. I want to use them over them. So you can go through all of these, and we give you the complete underwriting criteria, not only what it takes to get approved. And by the way, if they're in tier one, you're going to get approved. What it takes to get approved, but how to apply and what they're looking for and what the specific things they are looking for so that you know you're going to get approved before you apply. Remember earlier I said, wouldn't it be great if you could look over the underwriter's shoulder and know what to put on the application? We're going to give that information to you. So you'll be able to go through this process. Typically, it's about 6 to 9 months, depending on how quickly you want to move, depending where you are. Like, for example, Shande, you've got stuff reporting already, or it should be. And if it's not, we'll show you how to get that corrected. Um, but it's just logistics. It's you got to set up your foundation. That's going to take you a week in case you have something wrong. If not, you get in right away. You're going to get approved. You have to buy something from them or use that credit. Let's say it's a gas card. You have to use that credit. You have to get the bill. You have to pay it. Then they have to report. That's about 45 days. Then you get in tier two. Once it's reporting, same thing. 45 to 90 days. Double that 180 days. So 6 months. I typically tell people 6 to 9 months. So 9 months from now, worst case scenario, you should have 15 to 20 trade lines reporting. You should be getting approved for vehicle financing. You should have revolving credit cards. You should have all the suppliers you need to run your business. And you should have an amazing business credit profile. And then what's going to happen, and I discussed this earlier, is you're going to go to your mailbox, your business mailbox, right? And you're going to start seeing lenders reaching out to you saying, we'd be interested in talking to you. Are you interested in a loan? They didn't randomly find you. They bought your data. So what's all this cost? Everybody want to know what all this costs, right? Um, yep, I figured that. Here's the deal. This is the same program I sold to the one guy, JC, that was on there, sold to him for 3 grand. That's not what you're paying. Earlier on, I said, I'm looking for people who know how to follow instructions. Does everybody agree that these instructions look pretty easy, right? We give you exactly how to apply. Let me click on Uline so you can see what I'm talking about. This is going to take you right to here. It's going to tell you how to apply, what they're looking for, right? What they sell, and then you go ahead and apply. So it's really, really simple. So basically, we're showing you step by step how to do things. Here's what's great. This is called our Genesis program. We sell it $197 a month to month. You can stay in as long as you want, get done in 4 months, get out, or you can get a discount, buy 6 months, get 6 months free. However, that's not even the price you're going to pay. If you discount code Steve, STEVE, pretty simple. If you go to creditsuite.com, I'm going to show you where it is. Oops, hold on, where are we at? Genesis, there we go. creditsuite.com/pricing/Genesis, and I'll show you that on our slide deck. You're going to click Get Started. You're going to use the Steve code, and you're going to get it for, let's see, let's take you down to, where's that page at? Come on, kids. Oh, all of a sudden we're stuck. Yep, we're stuck. Isn't that great? I'm going to hit escape on this. It's going to be 167 and 990. Here we go. Let's take you to where we are. Here we go. 165 and 990. So you're saving what, 197 to 165? That's what, $30? That's about 15%. And on the overall, it's about $200. So about 15%, 15% discount. And again, keep in mind, this is subscription. There's no contract. It's month to month. Sign up, go to creditsuite.com/Genesis dash special. I will copy this and put this in the chat so you all have that link. Even if you're not sure you're going to do it, go ahead and hit it anyway and save it so you can get to it. But keep in mind, you have to use this promo code, Steve, when you go in there. Now, if you're interested in something like this, but maybe a little more robust, let's say your business is actually doing, it's more than just a startup and you want some help, We also have another program with advising. Just call my team at 877-600-2487, 877-600-2487. Just give us a call or call that number on the screen, 727-615-7078. We have another program that I'm not going to discuss here, a little bit higher level, a little bit more hand holding. But honestly, if I was going to do this, if I was going to go start a business, I would just grab this and go right through it and just follow it. Even somebody like me who knows how to build business credit, I have a lot of these people memorized. I just can't always remember how to apply and where and in what order. The system just makes it super easy. Okay, I'm going to stop right now because we are 1 hour in. My only job is to answer your questions. Any question. If it's just about building business credit, go ahead and ask. I'm going to sit and look in the chat. If there's none, I'm going to let you all go because it's 2:05 and I wanted to keep you under an hour. Any questions at all? Wow, that's fantastic. I love it. All right, don't forget, creditsuite.com/pricing/Genesis. I put it in the chat. Oh, Daniel raised his hand. Daniel, go ahead. What do you got? Just type it into the chat. Maybe that's an old hand raise. Probably is. All right. Listen, I appreciate you all hanging out here. Give us a call if you're unsure, 877-600-2487. If you have questions, hey, let's say you just want to have your DMB pulled now before you pull the trigger. Call us up, get an appointment scheduled. My team will pull your DMB report. They'll go over what they see. They'll send you a copy of it, and then help get you started. Oh, we got somebody asking a question now. Thank you for your time. That's not a question. Thank you. I appreciate it, Tim. My second business has the word capital. Does that count against you as well? No, Daniel, you'll be okay. Capital's, depending on how it is, like I said, it's not the best, but it's not going to stop you. Okay. I have friends who are in that business and they have no problem building business credit. Thanks so much. I appreciate everybody being here. I hope to talk and see you soon.